Hi, everyone. So here's Nicole. We have Nicole Schwarz, and and I'm Ginger Bayley, and our information will be down below. So, and we have Erik here, and he's saying hi. Love you, everyone. He's laughing right now. He thinks this is funny. He's been laughing all morning about this because it's like it's just funny. It's just funny that we're just starting to do this in the energy around it. So I could feel him like being silly, kind of teasing. But so we're going to be talking today about Jean-Michel Basquiat. Did I say that right? I think I said that right. And I'm going to read the questions, and Nicole's going to answer them today. All right. So let me read a little bit about him really quick. All right. Jean-Michel Basquiat, 1960 to 1988, was an American artist who rose to success during the 1980s as part of the Neo-Expressionism movement. Basquiat's art focused on dichotomies such as wealth versus poverty, integration versus segregation, and inner versus outer experience. He appropriated poetry, drawing, and painting, and married text and image, abstraction, figuration, and historical information mixed with contemporary critique. He used social commentary in his paintings as a tool for introspection and identifying with his experiences in the Black community, as well as attacks on power structures and systems of racism. Basquiat died at the age of 27 of a heroin overdose at his home on Great Jones Street in Manhattan, August 12th, 1988. So he's part of the 27 Club. All right. So first question. What's your spiritual, well, first of all, he's here, right? I mean, I can feel him here,
Yes,
and
he is.
and
He is here.
yeah, and I
He is
want
here. He's been here like all. He's been here all morning, but he's been lingering around us for a while because he wanted me to ask permission. And
yeah,
so it's like he was very stern. He was like, "You got to ask permission before you
yeah,
channel me." And I said, "Okay." So he's here right now. I know he's with both of us.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
his presence is very strong.
yeah, yeah. I feel that. I feel that. All right. So, what was your spiritual contract in this lifetime? Boy, let's start with the big question, right?
He said, "Well, right off the bat." He goes, I know I had to make an impact grow in my community. And he said, growing up was not the easiest for me. And I put a lot of my emotions
Right.
and my basically my soul into my artwork and to my work. And I was able to meet these influences to help me build up and establish my great works that are still being bought today. And
Yeah.
he's saying he was meant to impact a lot of other people as they impacted him, like musicians, artists,
Mhm.
and other people around him, and show that just because you die young doesn't mean you won't leave a legacy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He covered a lot just in the time that he was here. He like made a big impact. You
He
know.
did. He said he made it was all meant to be, and he made impacts on people he never even thought he made an impact on. He saw after he passed how his death really like shook them up.
Yeah. Yeah. I always find that interesting when you see how they notice the big picture when they're on the other side that they don't
Yeah,
always see from their perspective here.
right.
Okay. So, what was your childhood like?
He said this is a heavy one. He said this is why I've had a lot of demons in my life because of my childhood. He said he came from two different he's like showing me like for the visual people, two different ice cream cones, like say strawberry and chocolate. That's how he felt like his dad and his mom were from two different. family side. So when they meshed, he was very, very interesting. Yeah, he said he was French, and his mom was from the Dominican Republic, I want to say.
Mhm.
Somewhere Spanish, somewhere around there.
Sure, there's going to be a question on it.
He loved his mom. He was a big mama's boy. And his relationship with his father was not a strong one, was not very emotionally loving and supportive as
Mhm.
you see as fathers or something nowadays.
Right.
He left his family and he made a new life for himself. He got adopted by another family, I want to say. He's showing me this whole different family when he was younger. I don't know if they adopted him or they just kind of
Took him in,
brought him
probably.
in. Yeah, like that. Because he's showing me like
Oh.
packing bags and moving on and then showing me to this different other place, but not alone, like with stable
Right,
individuals.
right, right. I'm sure he had to probably grew up pretty fast. So, having that kind of life, huh? Like,
He did. And so that's why he's saying he died young, but he didn't feel like he died young. He always felt like he was older than he was.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so at the age of 7, were you hit by a car while playing on the streets of New York in 1968? Let's see.
Yes.
Let me make sure I'm hitting this. No, I'm reading it wrong. You were hit by a
He was
car
hit by a car.
while playing in the streets in New York in 1968. There's a glare on it. You ended up in the hospital with a broken arm and several internal injuries. What kind of impact did this accident have on your future life as an artist?
He goes, man, you guys have some heavy questions. He goes, not even like, what's my favorite color or what did I like to eat? uh, he's saying that he it influences art in a way where he literally felt broken and there was broken bones, there's broken everything, torn ligaments, torn tissues internally, broken ribs. He is saying, but he all those broken pieces mended back together and that helped create who he was, and he wanted to create his art like that, how broken pieces can be fit back together and they don't have to be a perfect fit.
Oh, that's a good analogy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sure he had a lot of time on his hands too while he was healing to create.
He did. He loved to draw. So he was always like sketching and he was very creative. He's saying he loved uh, being creating like an imaginary like world for himself where he could
Mm,
create these images and create and bring his life to this society. He said he had like a lot of imaginary friends
mhm.
that helped, kind of cultivate his early art.
Yeah, I bet I don't know if there's a question about this later, but I bet he channeled a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, a lot of artists channeled. So,
Yeah, he said he definitely channeled and he realized so because he was very intuitive as a kid and he always felt like he was different. He was saying that there was a time where he would go back and not remember. Like he's showing me like when he was 13, he'd go back and flip through his book and he's like, I don't remember drawing these. Like this was not me.
oh yeah, yeah, that
So
makes
it's like
sense.
he
That's
channeled some
Yeah, that's
writing.
common. That's common for all of us, I think, when we channel, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know what I just said. What did I just say?
Like I have no
Um,
idea.
so I think we talked about this a little bit, or you talked about this a little bit. Why did you run away from home when you were a teenager? I don't know if we did the why, but talked about a little bit of it.
It was a hard life. I was just growing up trying to figure out who I was as a young male. Did I like women? Did I like men? And my dad was very, very strict. He said he was abused, um, physically abused. He's not,
Mm,
he was beaten a lot and bullied and kind of roughed up.
yeah.
We wanted
Yeah.
to get away from that life and wanted to, you know, leave the toxic environment behind.
Right. Right.
I don't know if his mom passed away, but he said there was like no ties to, there was nothing holding him back to be staying with his dad. So he was saying, because he was closer with his mom, so his mom either left or she passed away. So that's why he felt like he could leave.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's something connection with that.
Yeah. Yeah. No protection. You didn't feel protected, I'm sure. So
Right.
you get out of there. Um, where did you get your creative inspiration from? There's many places.
He's saying I was born with it, yeah. And then just honestly growing up, living where I live, there was just a lot of interesting people and a lot of newness coming about. Uh, a lot of characters when he's showing me a lot of characters he was drawing as a child really developed and kind of took over his way of creating art. He loved power, he loved royalty. He's saying he always thought he was he's saying he thought he was a high priestess, but the priest basically, and like he liked wearing crowns in his drawing, like drawing crowns, and a lot of that kind of artist
And just from
material.
experiences, and I mean, there's just so many different places, I'm sure,
And
that his creativity came from.
kind of manifested his art too. Like he was powerful at the end, so he like wasn't this powerful being as a kid, and so he grew up and he was like, I'm gonna be this way. I am gonna help my community, and I see how the streets and drugs and
Hmm.
at the time I think
Like
AIDS
it,
was a huge epidemic in New York, so all that was coming about. But he had a lot of influences as friends and artists that he came later into life.
okay. All right. So, was your fame um, part of a pre-life plan? And if so, how did it change your life for the better or for the worst? Or for the worst, not the worst.
Yes, his fame was always a pre-life. It was like destined to be. He came back knowing that if he wanted all this money and power, it's basically like you sell your soul, but he didn't sell his soul. But like you can have all this and this and this, but you have to die at a young age. It's kind of like he let the fame and fortune get to him in a way where it negatively impacted him. It was a positive experience until he was able to buy things he wasn't able to buy, like drugs and stuff that he can blow his money on, which led to his death.
Yeah. Okay. So the fame being a pre-life plan, there were many things that he learned, like, having it pre-planned before he was born, per se, right? Before he was born, he planned it that way.
It's like because in the life before last, he was killed as a king, so he came back as
Oh, that's
trying to
interesting.
kill this royal thing, but in a different aspect of praise, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
he learned the lesson.
Oh, okay.
He
Yeah,
just
that
let
does.
he didn't let greed he let a different form of greed, not greed. He just kind of he had a lot of emotional trauma that he kind of buried deep inside. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can see it in his artwork, but um that's why I that's what he showed me. That's why he got into drugs, was a lot of emotion, trying to cope with a lot of things. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. No coping skills. So, what kind of spiritual connection did you have with Andy Warhol?
he's a soulmate connection. It's like a best friend soulmate connection. He was a very, very good mentor. He helped me a lot. I learned a lot from him, how he did his, how he would establish ideas and how he would cultivate all of his material. He's showing me they would work long hours together. He helped collaborate on some
Mhm.
things, but they were really good friends, and it was a
Yeah.
good mentor.
So, how did Andy Warhol's death impact you?
In his own depression, in his own kind of emotional turmoil, that he felt like that was a nightmare, that when he
Mm.
passed, but it was kind of like, I'll see you soon, buddy.
Like his soul knew, like his soul kind of knew, like it won't be long till I see you again.
The last couple months of his life, he was like out of his body. He was started transitioning a long before that. And he's showing me, he's like, when, soulmates, when two dogs or two cats or two animals are so uh close and they die very,
Hmm.
very close to each other. He goes, that's how we were. Our souls were so linked like that.
The next question is, do you attend auctions when your paintings are sold? Do you visit your paintings? Yeah.
I do. Yes, I love to visit my paintings. So I have to kind of, I kind of handpick who buys my paintings in a way. I have
Oh,
a little
wow.
sway on it. So that's why I want to know, what environment is it going to be? Is it going to be a loving and supportive environment that I love, that I want all of my paintings to be in?
Yeah. Yeah. The next question is in the early 1980s, you dated the then unknown singer Madonna. He apparently told his art dealer that Madonna will be the biggest pop star in the world. Like he already foreseen it. How were you able to predict Madonna's future success?
She was an artist like me, so I just knew she was so talented, and no one had that type of voice at that age and had that much energy and spunk that she brought. He's like, she was just such a remarkable woman. She was a soulmate as well. Um, he goes, I was very fond of her.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so next one. What did you think about hip hop culture, or what do you think? They put did, but it's what do you think about hip hop culture nowadays?
This shit is whack. Because what is it? He goes, they try to make some hip hop with some country. He goes, they need to keep he goes, that pop and hip. He goes, everyone's just trying to make a buck. That's what
Yeah,
it
that is
is.
so
And then
true. Yeah, stand out.
he goes, the real industry would not let sex offenders on the loose and not let money overcome so much power and fame, let them, overcome who they are and what their soul being to be on this earth. He's saying a lot of the, artists, media, culture right now is just, it took a turn.
Yeah, some of the agendas have changed. Some of the passion. I mean, I think there's a lot of passion there on some, and then others are molded by those who are in charge of them, I think, and they lose their own,
He
yeah,
said,
leadership.
because I love the natural artists, the pop-up
Yeah,
artists that,
yeah.
he goes, there's a lot in Brooklyn, Nashville. He's showing me Seattle. He's just saying there's like those, those artists that are coming, but those are good artists. And then the big industries get them and then make them do material that is not what they're soul is aligned to do.
Right, right. They're trying to appease people, but it's not coming from their soul all the way. Like, yeah. Okay, so your friends who worked with you criticized the use of your painting equals pi used in a Tiffany and Company ad that partnered with Jay-Z and Beyonce, with Jay-Z wearing his hair like yours. What did you think of that campaign? Kind of sounds like commercialism in a way, you know?
Yeah. They used me. He
Yeah,
goes, they used me for good. He goes, no, he thought it was funny. He thought he really
yeah.
he respected the attempt that Jay-Z made to pose as him and do his hair.
Mhm.
We're not far apart from where we grew up, he said. So we're both of, that culture of, making it from nothing. I applaud him for that. But
Not uncommon too.
no, it
Yeah,
was money. It was money.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Who wouldn't
Um,
like Tiffany's?
what?
He
What'd
said,
you
and
say?
who wouldn't like Tiffany's? He goes,
Yeah.
I love that because I love that baby blue color. My art looks great with it.
All right. Okay. Which part of your roots you felt more connected to, the Haitian or Puerto Rican? So
Haitian.
that's what it was you were trying to get earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, Haitian because of he felt more connected to his French roots from, and
Yeah.
the just the culture and just the people in Haiti. He goes, they're just different. He goes, don't get me wrong, people in Puerto Rico, they're amazing. They're great people. He goes, I love my Hispanic background, but there's just something I'm just now I know, but I was connected from past lives. So he realized, he goes, okay, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. All right. When you were painting, you would listen to Bolero. I knew there was going to be something I was going to mess up. By Maurice Ravel on repeat. Why? Like, why would you listen to this over and over while you're painting? Was it the hypnotizing quality of the musical piece that put you in a trance-like state where you could channel your creativity in a more focused way? I kind of feel like that person who asked this kind of answered their question.
It's like
Yeah,
when you were reading it, it
yeah,
was like making me
yeah,
go like he was showing me. It's
yeah,
like when they're that's how he felt. He goes, it was very like calm, like, and it so everything. He goes, the frequency of that music really hit my higher self, and I was able to channel a lot of my work, and I didn't realize that until I
yeah,
passed. I
yeah.
didn't realize why am I using this work, and then I met other famous artists, and they're like, well, this work did they found out that my work does this, this, and this. He's showing me like Beethoven, with the
Yeah,
hairs.
right, right. Yeah, hopefully I didn't chop up the name of that piece, but I'm sorry, everybody, if I did. All right. What was your emotional instability about? Was this part of your death?
Yes, emotional instability. I had a lot of undiagnosed trauma that I didn't bring to the surface that I kind of buried deep. And I thought I brought it to the surface when I would do art, but fully I did not allow myself to bring in. I still buried stuff deep down and a lot of depression and anxiety. And he's showing me some like a very minor like mental health disorder that if
Like an
he would
imbalance, yeah,
yeah, if he would have gotten the right medication or the right
yeah.
treatment,
I feel that.
he would have had different coping mechanisms,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
something.
yeah. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. Whenever you would go to Hawaii, you were able to get away from your drug addiction. Why? What was it about Hawaii that made you feel good? Or did he? Did he get away from it? You know?
He goes, what in Hawaii is not to love? He goes, compare Hawaii to New York right now. What do they have? Wouldn't you want to live in Hawaii? Wouldn't you want to go to Hawaii? It's beautiful. It's breathtaking. The people are so nice. And I was able to channel my inner self and really cultivate what I wanted to pursue next. And it was a really good way for me to plan out my next move. But I never fully stepped away from any drug.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of felt that.
Maybe it was more readily available where he was, but he always made sure he knew somebody, or he kept some with him, or kept something with him.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of felt that when I was reading that. Okay. So did you have another life in Hawaii? Like you have a past life connection to it?
You know, he said it's not so much Hawaii, it's more of the connection from Haiti. It's an island, but it's more of a
Island feel.
it's an island feel, but Hawaii is a lot more abundantly thriving than Haiti is right now. So yes, I had a past life on an island.
So that's what he's connected to, is that island energy. Were you a starseed?
Yes, definitely.
What do you think his I feel like he had many different, more than here, you know, many lives on other planets. You feel that? It's kind of like
how
us.
they would go against each other, and then like one would take over. Like he would like be in like, the battles, and I don't know how, it was a lot. He had many.
Yeah, I feel like that, like old soul, which, you know, when someone says that, I know there's no age to a soul, but I feel like if you've had like millions of lives, you know, it could make you like that, I think. Was your death a spiritual contract or was it free will?
Spiritual contract.
You died at the age of 27. So many other celebrities died at the same age from the same reason, overdose, to name a few. And then it names off Rudy Lewis, Dickie Pride, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Amy Winehouse. What is it about at that age? What's it about? What's that age about? The 27 Club.
Because I am a proud member. Because it is a soul contract. What's interesting about 27 is he's showing me it's like the soul came up, like, and all these other souls came up and was like, okay, you have a chance to live or you have a chance to die young. Which one do you want to take? Because at 27, I believe, because the universe and everything, and even it just came out, he showed me the planet Saturn. Saturn returns at 27, every 27 years. So it's kind of like he's showing me that had a lot to do with it. And then plus in numerology, 2 + 7 is 9, nine's endings.
Yeah.
And
yeah. So there's many spiritual reasons for it. Yeah.
There's a lot, but the easiest way to get out, is overdose. It was, and a lot of us were accidental, but we let the fame and we let everything build up. So it's like a lot of things weren't fulfilling us the way that they used to. So the drugs were the only thing fulfilling us, and we couldn't even get our fix with that. So that's why we all overdid it.
Yeah. I kind of wonder too if maybe, on like a collective or earthly level, maybe setting an example in a way, and not saying it's a good example to set, but that opposite example, of young people, like if you live this way, just be prepared. Yeah.
Like you're on the same path.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of artists that overcome addiction and,
Right.
make a turn for themselves,
Yeah.
but it doesn't. Oh, he just showed me his face. Oh, here, Matthew Perry, like he overcame addiction and stuff. And then
Mm.
later on in life, he died, of another cause in a different way. So it's like there's always going to be a soul contract, but you can always take the easy way out. And then, but if you do, you have to be okay with the lessons and the
Yeah.
emotional baggage that come up for you to learn from it.
Right. Did you believe in an afterlife? What did you think happened when we die? Or did you even have a thought about it? Maybe we're just meat puppets.
He said there was, he said there were so many different like theories and speculations around him, like growing up in different cultures, that he said he believed that there was something, but he didn't really necessarily believe in a religion or he didn't really know how to explain because he knew he was intuitive, so he knew there was something. He just didn't know
Yeah.
what.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Can you describe in detail your crossing over? Like who greeted you? What did you see? How did it feel? How was your life review?
Life review was heavy because it brought up a lot of things that I didn't want to embrace. It brought up the good and the bad. When you see, it's kind of like I was sitting in a movie theater and it's like I had my show on and I was watching myself. And
Yeah.
that's how
Yeah.
it kind of felt. And it's like, okay, the movie's done. Let me walk out of the movie theater. And it's like, but it's not a movie theater. And I walked out and it was kind of like this, I don't know how to explain it, like this grass around, but it was like, he goes, it was like my island. He goes,
I was
he
going
goes,
to
I
say
don't
like
know
a
how
landscape that he loved. Yeah.
he goes, it was beautiful. He goes, but then it was like, he was like, I was so at peace. Um, he goes, I was so happy that I made a name for myself and I knew my name was still going to be talked about even when I was gone. And who do you think greeted me? He goes, my boy Andy. And um a relative of his, I don't know if his mom passed away or something, but that or his grandmother, but I'm getting like a maternal
Yeah,
figure.
I seen a female. Yeah, I seen a
And there's
female too.
another artist that he would always listen to the music.
Oh, okay. All right. The one that we were just talking about?
Yes.
Where it went. Yeah. Oh, Maurice Revel.
Like a composer
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Okay.
then it was like a lot of, and then people that were his influences that he, thought about. And then there was island, this island guy and like
An
this,
Islander.
yeah, like in a skirt and like literally was like, you're home.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
he was
That's
like,
nice.
yes, I feel it.
So what did it feel like when you died? Like what it's just real quick, like what was it like when you left your body? Did you like were you confused or was it
I
quick?
was a
What
little confused because I was high out of my mind. And so I was just in a lot of pain. Um, and whatever I was taking wasn't working. So I took more. And I thought, I was just having a reaction to the stuff. I felt like I couldn't breathe, but then I kind of passed out. And then when I did, I kind of saw myself below. I was floating and I saw myself. I'm like, why am I laying there? What am I doing? Why am I not getting up? And then he looked at himself and he didn't have any, like, it's like a bottom hat. It's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, not like a,
substance, but you have a
yeah,
shape?
yeah,
Yeah.
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 And he
Yeah.
goes, basically like, where are my legs? And he
Yeah.
goes, and then, like, and he goes, oh my goodness. And then he goes, oh, I'm not a lot. I think I die. And then it's like He goes, no way, no way. I think I'm dreaming. So he closed his eyes, and then that's when he woke up in the like that movie, and he saw his life review. So he goes, oh, I did. So
Yeah.
he was confused. Did you
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah. Yeah. I felt that. I felt that. Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
he didn't feel anything. He said when he
No, it was like
went, he
going to
was,
sleep,
yeah.
and then, yeah, not
It was
realizing that
kind of like, yeah, he
like
thought
he
he,
wasn't awake. Like I wasn't awake, but yep, no, I'm awake. I'm just
yeah,
not in my body anymore.
yeah,
Um, okay, we're almost done here. What are you doing now in the afterlife?
painting and creating
Eh,
everything that I would have created,
Yeah, yeah.
on Earth. He goes, anything that I want to do, I can do.
Do you guide any other artists that are beginning? Like, does he do anything like that?
Yes, he does. A lot of new artists, upcoming artists, trying to make a name for themselves and trying to really help others with their art and pour their heart and soul into. He
Hmm.
tries to help them. A lot of He's showing me the East Coast, so it's like there's a lot of artists on the East Coast he wants to help. He goes, the West Coast seems like they have it covered.
That's funny. All right. Did you reincarnate? Are you planning to if you didn't?
I did not. Haven't thought about when I wanted to, but yes, I plan on reincarnating.
Couple more here. Which other life that you've had influenced this one? You kind of touched on that earlier about being a king in another life. You already kind of touched on that.
It definitely had like a two lives kind of like a king like a legacy like that, like a kingdom, and he had all that. He had courses, and then there was one where he lived kind of off the grid. He was an islander, so it's like they kind of merged.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. What's your final message to young artists nowadays?
Don't let the fame get to your head. Don't let money influence everything. Money is not power. You are the power. He's showing me like the crowns. He goes, that's what I try to cultivate in my art. And then I lost kind of perspective and let money get to me where it led, to other things where I met my demise. But just keep going and don't let anybody tell you your art's not good enough, because you're going to meet somebody that's going to think you're going to make it, and you will make it, and you won't realize how you went from 0 to 100. But
Yeah,
it's just,
it'd be fast. I feel that. It'd be like 1 minute it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm ever going to get anywhere. And then bam, everybody knows who you are, kind
yeah,
of thing. So don't give up. That's a
yeah.
good one. That's a good message. Don't ever give up or let anybody tell you who you are, you
Right.
know?
That's so true.
Yeah. Okay. So, anything else you want to say, Nicole, maybe about your business? You have any sales or anything like that going on? Anything you want to share?
I did the Ask Erik tab, where you can ask yes or no questions for one. You do 3 questions, 5 questions, or 1 question. So I have that, and I just put that on. So for like a
Great.
lesser price. So
All right. That's great. That's great. I don't have anything that's changed. I just still have the sale going on for the spring sale. That'll be going just for a few more weeks. So you want to maybe my schedule grab something before it fills up, but you can do it throughout the year whenever. So subscribe. Hit the like button. All
yes,
right. Make sure you don't miss any upcoming videos. So hit the notification bell. And Erik says, good job, Nicole.
thanks, Erik.
Lots of love, lots of love. He's so cute. Yeah, he's just like standing there going, love everybody, to everybody listening. Just lots of love to everyone.
He does. He
Yeah,
loves
yeah,
everybody. He's
yeah,
with
yeah,
everybody who listens. And
yeah, yeah.
he just wants everyone to be kind, and you know, he's
Love
so
yourself. Love everyone. He's
yes.
just
Love yourself. And he's so funny. He goes, he's still playing, he won't
Yeah.
give me back what I've lost. And so I'm like, please,
Yeah.
please, can I have the stuff that I bought. He goes,
Oh, yeah. Lisa was talking about that earlier. She said maybe you like if you want to tell what happened,
Oh, well,
yeah.
Eric. Okay, so like Eric, he's so funny. So I've been doing laundry and stuff, and Eric literally took a tan and a black bra, and I was like, okay, where are they? I don't know where. I looked everywhere. I'm like,
Yeah, and
Mom,
I saw him laughing.
are they in the?
Yeah.
And it's great. And I'm like, Eric, where are they? And Lisa this morning was like, tell Eric he's going to be in timeout if he doesn't give them to you. I'm like, Eric. He goes, he's like, I'll give them to you before you go away.
Yeah.
I was like,
he's like, not worried like that. Like,
you
Mom,
don't need
not
right
worried.
now.
Yeah, right. He's so funny. Yeah, he loves playing jokes on people. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
JEAN-MICHEL.
Jean-Michel Basquiat. Basquiat.
He said, thank you so much for hearing me out. Having a voice. Yeah. It's nice. Thank you for being here. So
you're welcome.
all right. Yeah.
All right. Love ya.